Fast food is collapsing, and it's a rot of their own making. It's because after the lockdown started, these companies, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, they decided that, well, if Americans are getting these sweet, sweet stimulus checks of infinite free money that no one will ever have to pay back, we're going to price gouge them. And so McDonald's and Wendy's and Hardee's and all these companies decided that a quarter pounder with cheese extra value meal was going to be $14 now. And now that things have calmed down and people have gone back to work and the lockdowns have lifted, new reports suggest slash, well, confirm just how greedy these companies have been. The baffling thing to me, even as a fat, okay, is just how far we let them push us, just how expensive we let these jerks push the cost of everything. And I'm going to start first with this article from the Washington Garbage Compost. Did McDonald's price itself out of a market it in fact dominated for decades? And quite frankly, before I even get into it, the answer is yes. Earnings reports suggest that some consumers have turned away from fast food restaurants as their offerings have become more expensive. By the way, if you enjoyed the ad-free day, I'll ask that you leave a like on the video. And if you haven't yet, subscribe down below. When Nick Martinez and his family wanted a quick, inexpensive, reliable meal, McDonald's used to be their go-to choice. Not so much now, he said, that he let his 5-year-old son pick a range of spots near their home in Colton, California that might have seemed too pricey in the past. McDonald's is no longer the best value anymore, said Martinez, who is 50, who has 3 children. People are saying, well, if I'm going to pay $5 for a fry, I'll just go to this place over here. And what a perfectly well put encapsulation of the exact problem that exists. People decided, hey, if I'm going to pay $15 for a quarter pounder with cheese value meal, I'll just go to Chili's. Now, I'm not saying the food at Chili's or TGI Fridays or whatever is like infinitely better than McDonald's, but it certainly is better than McDonald's. And people said, you know what? You guys pushed us too far. People have had enough. McDonald's latest financial report suggests that sentiment has grown among its traditional customer base. While the company blames its disappointing first quarter results on fewer people dining out in general, some experts suggest that budget-conscious consumers have turned to chains such as Taco Bell and Chili's. Hey, look at that. As they see the offering as a better value. I would not put Taco Bell and Chili's in the same sentence, to be totally honest with you. Taco Bell during the day is good. Taco Bell during the daylight hours, good value, good food, clean food. Taco Bell after 7 o'clock at night, that's garbage tier. Chili's doesn't suffer from that same, quality dip. In the first quarter, McDonald's saw its worst year-over-year revenue drop since the height of the lockdowns, as sales tumbled 3.6% for U.S. locations that have been open at least a year. Visits from low and middle income consumers plunged 10%. Chief executive Don't Really Care said last week. People are just being more judicious about cutting back on visits, he said during the call with analysts. We're not immune to the volatility in the industry or the pressures that our consumers are facing. Look, let me be very, very clear. You are the reason people have now started to think twice. My entire childhood, like unironically, okay, my entire youth, even until I was 20, 25, you never thought, hey, McDonald's is going to be, you just knew that McDonald's was going to be cheap. You never thought, hey, maybe can I get a better deal than McDonald's? No, you said, hey, I'm going to go to McChokenpukes, get my, McChicken sandwich with cheese and get on with my life. But that's very different now. They push the prices so high. They even charge people extra on DoorDash, which is really scummy. And people started asking the questions, hey, maybe there's a better option. Maybe there's a better option for me because I don't want to be part of this. You know, like maybe there's, maybe there's some better food for my dollar out there. And that's only because McDonald's has gotten so incredibly greedy and ripped off its customers so bad. Generally speaking, the price gap between fast food and fast casual and sit down restaurants have now blurred, said Sarah Senator, analyst of Bank of America. That makes it harder to justify spending more than $10 at McDonald's when just a few extra dollars can buy meals at Wingstop. By the way, Wingstop is garbage tier too. Shake Shack, okay, I don't think Shake Shack is better than McDonald's, or other fast casual restaurants that are perceived as higher quality. When I consider fast casual, I'm thinking Culver's, Five Guys, Chili's, Applebee's, TGI Fridays, stuff like that. The average price of a McDonald's item has increased 40% between 2019 and 2024. Thanks, Joe Biden. Leave a like on this video if you want to kick Joe Biden in the butt, which the company says tracks with its rising costs. The cost of the company's signature Big Mac sandwich rose 21% during that time, according to a company fact sheet. While the price of an Egg McMuffin and 10-piece McNugget meals climbed 23% and 28% respectively. The consumer price index rose almost 23% over the same period. McDonald's price hikes have led competitors to question the chain's value. In one notable example, Chili's, which has thrived despite struggling restaurant industry, promoted the burger on its $10.99 3 for Me meal as having twice the beef of a Big Mac, and urged customers in an advertisement to ditch the tiny drive-through burger. Well, it's hard to push back against that. Look, as a fat, okay, this is my wheelhouse, folks. And when I know a quarter pounder with cheese is no longer enough meat for me. I need like a double quarter pounder with cheese to really feel like I'm full. And when you go and look at a Chili's burger, they are much bigger, much juicier. You can go in there and get endless chips and salsa for like $2 or $3. Yeah, you have to tip a waiter, but like, okay, fine. I'm going to spend $30 for two people, or $35 for two, or $25 for two at McDonald's. For the $10, I feel, hey, this is just better. Meanwhile, other fast food and fast casual chains, including Burger King, Popeyes, Chipotle, and Wendy's, joined McDonald's in reporting the same store decline in their most recent quarters and warned that a broader consumer slowdown could further squeeze the inflation-battered restaurant industry. But McDonald's, long seen as the fast food industry's standard bearer and icon of affordable dining, is more vulnerable now because it has raised prices while offering weaker deals than its rivals, analysts say. No, the reason McDonald's is more vulnerable is because they pummeled people during the lockdowns. I haven't forgot about that. Have you forgot about that? I don't think you forgot about that. They absolutely took people over the coals when it came to the prices of stuff during the lockdowns, because for whatever reason, if you worked at a gym, that was considered non-essential. But if you worked at McDonald's and you had DoorDash, contactless delivery, and you had a $400 check coming from Uncle Biden every 2 weeks, you spent that money on DoorDash and weed, which is like what 1/3 of Americans did. A lot of their base is that low-income consumer, and when prices go up, you see rapid inflation and economic uncertainty. McDonald's, in some ways, is one of the most vulnerable companies out there, said Joseph Nunez, a market professor at the University of Southern California's Don't Care. Other chains such as Wendy's and Burger King also raised prices in recent years to offset inflation. He said, but McDonald's trailed the rest of the fast food industry in slowing price hikes last year as inflation cooled. It wasn't long ago that McDonald's sales boomed. The chain's U.S. same-store sales spiked during the lockdowns and immediately after, with 8.7% increase in the recent, as soon as 2023. But are we not going to discuss the fact that this is because there were no other options? Mom and pop restaurants were not allowed to even be open. Meanwhile, super mega corporations were allowed to stay open, like McDonald's and Wendy's. They were allowed to stay open, but no one else was. The challenging consumer environment gives McDonald's an opportunity to outperform its competitors, but they're too greedy. Fast food restaurants are still in decline. April traffic slips and McDonald's Chipotle sales slump in Q1. Despite a strong start to the year, traffic at U.S. quick-serve restaurants, which have been steadily declining month by month, was down 1.7% year over year to last April, signaling growing consumer caution in shifts in dining behaviors, according to Revenue Management Solutions, a company that analyzes data and provides insights about the restaurant industry. At the same time, RMS found on average fast food prices also increased in April by 2% year over year, steady with inflation trends. Well, the problem is it's not necessary. People don't care about what your product costs. I could talk about my company right now, but I won't because I offered you no ads. People don't care what your product costs. They are worried about the perceived value. If somebody gets 20 oodles of satisfaction for something that they perceive as being as costing 10, they're happy. The problem is McDonald's has long positioned itself as a cheap alternative. And now they've come out and said, hey, we're expensive and our food quality hasn't increased. And so people have moved on to other options, including cooking at home. You see, I stuck to a $15 budget at McDonald's and Burger King, one chain offered more variety. Imagine not, I know I'm 42, okay, and, a lot of my viewers are, I guess I'm probably in the middle of my viewers. Most of my adult life, I never paid more than $5 for an extra value meal. The fact that you need 15 tells you everything that's wrong with these greed-hungry losers. And hey, if this means more mom and pop shops thrive, I'm 100% for it. If you haven't yet, make sure you leave a like on this video. If you haven't, subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.